okay. That was like, I thought there was going to be fade in, but welcome to Valley Black Talk Radio here in the 8.1 FM KFCF. And today is March 10th, 2014. My name is Julia Deli Najib, along with Jewell Riversmith, back there handling the boards and the phone calls. And we know that you will want to call in because, as you know, the first 15 minutes of every program for Valley Black Talk Radio, we always do the community calendar and what is happening in the Valley. So you definitely want to call in to 559-266-8888. Again, that's 559-266-8888. Boy, Jewell, this has been like an eventful month for me.
Yes.
You know, and then it's like an eventful month to come. For
Yeah.
me. It's like it just started off that way.
Oh, okay. You got to tell me about the month to come.
Yeah, the month to come. Well, it's my birthday month. That's why I say it's an eventful month to come.
Oh, okay.
I was born on the drunk person's holiday. That would be St. Patrick's Day. So that should tell you a lot what my parents were thinking when I came blind.
No, we'd have to go 9 months previous and see what that holiday was.
That's true. Maybe it's the holiday before that. That's what everyone tells me. Well, Julia, do you ever think it has to go 9 months before that? Yeah, but still, I was born on that day. So at any rate, March is definitely an eventful day. I always call it the unpredictable weather changer, March and April here in Fresno in the Valley.
I hope it's unpredictable. Right now, we can predict no rain.
Yeah, that's what's been
predictable. I hope it becomes unpredictable.
These warm spells, and then it goes to cold spell, and then it goes to warm. March is sometimes temperamental. Actually, April is more temperamental than March, believe it or not, here in the Valley. So people listening to Valley Black Talk Radio know that we obviously have a lot to talk about, as we always do every Monday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we want to let you know we are on. In fact, let me go over those dates. The first Monday, we usually have Mel and sometimes Kimberly Jackson when she has time to come in. We go over the politics, the latest happening. In fact, Mel's going to be having some of the elected officials or officials that are going into elections for this year on the program. And I think even the fifth Monday of this March, he'll be having a special just on that, and we'll be bringing that to you as we always do.
Ooh.
Second Monday, it's always myself and Jewell. Yes, we like to wrap up the local news and what's happening on a nationwide front, and we get some good discussion. Wouldn't you say, Jewell?
I think yes.
Indeed. That third Monday, we have different organizations and members from the community, the SEIU Union and other folks that like to speak and tell us what's happening, going on, and informing the public of what they need to know. Fourth Monday, you always have Cato, Kayende, and Shirley, who talk about from Black history. I say it's always a history lesson with our Dr. Kayende Swazi.
Yes.
Always. It's never a dull moment when it comes to African and African American history. They do break down what is happening locally in the Valley in regards to education as well as nationwide, and how those nationwide topics are affecting us on a local level. So there'll be a special program on that. And in fact, those will be some of the new things Valley Black Talk Radio will be doing, is at least posting some of those things that are up and coming. We're going to be making it thematic, Jewell. It's going to be thematic.
Yay!
So if
I
the
love a theme.
Yeah, so let's say, not that we would do that, but let's say the theme is talking about polar bears. Not that we would talk about polar bears, then every show would have some aspect of polar bears. Maybe Kayende would break it down, how the reason why the polar bears migrated from Africa to, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it would be interesting.
It would be interesting for him to break that down, but there's no such thing. And at the same time, we might be talking about the news and the polar bear, and then maybe Mel would be talking about the politics of global warming and dealing with the polar bears. You get what I'm saying?
So there will be synergy.
Synergy.
I like that word.
Which also comes with that energy.
Yes.
Synergy and energy. It all works together perfectly in one movement. That's one thing that Valley Black Talk Radio has been trying to get on the same page with and make sure the listeners know what to expect. And so we want to let you know we are working hard to make sure we give people the value that comes with the news and giving them the quality instead of all the quantity of all these things, because we could easily be any other news program and give you a whole bunch of sporadic information that doesn't relate to you. And instead, we try to do the opposite.
Yeah, agreed.
And letting people know they are listening to KFCF. This is a what sponsored radio, Jewell? This is a what sponsored?
This is free speech radio.
Thank you.
And listener
That's
sponsored.
what I was looking for.
Listener
That's
means those folks.
Yes.
Yeah. And us too.
Yes, us too, the ones
Yeah.
that are listening.
Yeah.
And so we always remind people, why not become a member? $25 a year minimum makes you a voting member. And that way you get to help see the change that you wish to see. I always tell people, be that change. Don't talk about, because Jewel, last week someone told me, well, you guys need to do this, this, and this to the radio station. I said, that's great. Why not become a member today so that you can have a voice and opinion and help make those changes?
Exactly. Help us pay for the changes that you want to see.
Exactly. Because we definitely love change, and we want to be able to assist in that effort. In order to do that, we do need the help from our listening audience, those of you who like this program such as Valley Black Talk Radio. Just know that your $25 a year donation goes to this nonprofit FFC to be able to handle the equipment that's in here. We volunteer because we enjoy doing this. This is something I've been doing all of my life, I say, journalism. So I want you to know that as myself and Jewel are on this radio, we're doing this because we love what we do. And we want to make sure the community is absolutely informed with what is going on throughout the valley. However, KFCF has to be able to have lights on. We've got to be able to have the air on. We've got to be able to have the equipment, the transmitters. So just know that those donations, when you're giving at the kfcf.org website, those donations are going to this station right here. And it's going to a good cause. I always have to shoot that out there, Tell them Valley Black Talk Radio sent you, because we want them to know we have listeners that care. And we appreciate all of you who have donated in the past. So thank you for that. Meanwhile, we do have quite a bit of events, and also we want to tell you what's coming up on this show. This is going to be one of those shows where, Jewel, we said we weren't going to do it, but now it's when we start pinpointing issues dealing with, I call it the blues. We got the second part of the blues, and this is dealing with the State Center Community College District and Dr. Deborah Blue.
Yeah, when did you say you weren't going to do it? You have never shied away from controversy.
This is true.
I don't believe you said you weren't going to do it.
Okay, I did say that I was going to be unbiased in the last program, and then we had that caller, which ironically was biased.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, this is when I'm not being biased, and I'm just pointing out facts. But now we're going to have to be biased because of different information that came through. And so we do have our second part of the blues. We call it the wrap-up discussion.
Yeah,
we have to discuss that.
We need to have that. We need to have that.
That's the way it is.
Got to wrap it up.
Got to wrap it up, and we want to be able to listening audience know what's going on. In fact, a lot of people have been watching the Bounce TV and are appreciative that we've been able to spew that information on our airwaves, the African American channel, which you would not be able to do anywhere else.
That coverage was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And it was detailed. It gave everyone an outlook that wasn't seen. And I know that I can tell that some of the trustees were not happy, and I can't apologize for that. They're doing their jobs, and based on the information that they have. But there's also a way to do it effectively, and we'll talk more about that. I want to make sure they understand, because a lot of people think that the black media is just targeting us. Not necessarily, but we do target processes, and we pinpoint things that aren't working that need to be fixed.
And if the shoe fits,
you got to wear it.
You got to wear it.
And if you don't like that shoe, buy another one.
Yeah.
We're always happy with that.
Yeah, don't put it on.
We always support different pair of shoes. Nothing wrong with a new pair of shoes.
No, nothing at all.
And admitting that at the same time.
Yeah.
Those are things we're going to be talking about in a wrap-up discussion with our part 2 of the blues, I call it. And we'll tell you why we have the blues. You'll have to stay tuned for the blues of Dr. Blue. Get it? The play on words, but never mind.
That.
I didn't know if you
so
got
clever.
that. Thank you very much. That's a headline right there. Meanwhile, what we hope to hear from the Fresno Griffins coach. That's the local ABA team that's here. People are still trying to find out more about this team.
What is ABA?
ABA. So you see what I mean?
Baseball?
Yeah, no, basketball.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's just the players that are trying to either make it to the next level, whether playing overseas. Some of them have dreams. I hear about even the Globetrotters. I didn't realize that was a possibility. So that coach will be calling in about 8:30. We got to have a nice conversation with them. But, it'd be nice if our community could also get out there and support the team. I've had long discussions, in fact, with the owner, Julie Fulcher, who's also not only owner, but she's also a business owner, a local woman business owner here in the Valley.
Yeah, I was going to say a girl.
Yeah, okay. A girl in charge of things around here.
Good for her.
That's right. Go ahead. Woman power.
Yeah, that's right.
She is the owner. And, I've had to hear her woes and things that she's gone through. And it's unfortunate because our community can be very unforgiving. And I want to make sure we address that. But most and foremost, I want to address the players that are doing things in this community that we should know about and at least be aware of. I think that's important, that we be able to move forward and be able to support these young men because these young men are also grooming themselves to be role models, not just in basketball, but as community members. They're all out in the community. They're always doing something, some type of event.
And we would sure be, it would be everywhere. It would be all over the news if they were robbing and pillaging.
Of course.
And, it'd be everywhere. So
of course.
Let's put them on blast for doing good and
for the good things that
things.
they do.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to be able to accentuate on.
Yeah.
So we hope to be able to hear from Craig Ash and Robert R.L. Whitaker, and also the coach that will be calling in to be able to give us some insight, what's going on, Fresno Griffins, what happened this past season, what are we to expect for the upcoming season, and also the community, what they've been doing in the community. And so those are some of the things we will talk about that will take up a majority of the program. I guess we should talk about some of those upcoming events. I didn't know we were supposed to have something interesting. Joquoya told me about at Fresno State. There's kind of a reverse discrimination situation that's going on, where ethnic organizations are going up asking for funding. Let's say it's the BSU, or let's say it's the AKAs, and the ASI that normally helps to give those funds, it might be for, I don't know, an event or something that they're doing, telling them no because their organization is not ethnically diverse.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. Wow, okay, that's interesting. If we can't have him on this show, because it might be short notice, she was trying to get someone to call in, maybe on the next program that we can have them call in, because that's a bit ridiculous.
So let me understand. The Black Student Union gets, for example, or Asian American Students Association, for example, gets told you can't have the funding because you're all African American or you're all Asian.
Right.
Or if it's MECHA, you're all Hispanic.
It's a big deal. And so they don't understand that, but the people that are in charge of ASI, she made a valid point, happen to be all one type of people. So in their minds, they're figuring, well, that's just one ethnic group, so they have to be more diverse, which is ironically, it's weird.
Okay, that's very interesting because, well, two things. First off, I don't suppose that these organizations are keeping anyone out.
Right, they're not, and they usually do not.
But you have to be interested in being in the Asian American Students Association.
Sure, right.
And probably, if you're not Asian American, you're probably not as interested as being in, We had a guy in high school who was Caucasian, who joined the Black Student Union. And they embraced him. He was a really cool dude, as a matter of fact. And he was in there for like the whole 4 years of high school.
Yes.
And but he was the only one.
Right.
Not surprisingly. I'm not getting it. I'm just not getting
it. That part has behooved me. And I'll say even where I went to high school in San Jose, since we didn't have any black teachers, our BSU, the what do you call it? The teachers.
The advisor.
The advisor. Thank you. The advisor was Caucasian. He never had a problem. He's like, yeah, I'll manage the BSU. It was something for students to be able to have an outlet, to have a voice.
Yeah.
Interesting, though. So we'll have to hear more about that.
We're going to have to follow up on
we'll have to follow up on that. I know that the local newspaper on that campus, the Uhuru na Umoja, will be doing an article on that. So maybe when that article comes out, we'll be able to have them follow up. But while you're grabbing that, I'll go over some of these upcoming events. Please call in with your upcoming events. Again, that number is 559-266-8888. Again, that 559-266-8888. Know that you can post your upcoming events freely to our Valley Black Talk Radio calendar. And it is absolutely free to be a member of the Valley Black Talk Radio calendar. Not only are you able to post your own events on the calendar, and we say those events on the air, you also will get all the upcoming shows that are coming up, so you know what that topic's going to be about, and if in case you want to call in, or that's the week that you want to be able to find out what's happening. And I had one glass of coffee today. That's the benefits of owning a coffee shop. And then
is that you only get one glass?
That's the benefits. Don't we miss Joquoya?
Yes.
Guys. She's on the air with
nice
us.
To have another voice,
wonderful co-host / intern. People want to see her more on the TV. She's getting the prison letters too.
Yeah.
It's okay. We all get them. But it was a positive one. The gentleman was positive and wanted her to keep up the good work. So there's
really
positive
nice.
people from everywhere that have great comments. So
yeah, 7 pages worth.
Yeah, 7 pages worth of saying keep it up, sister, my sister.
Wow,
So
7
people
pages.
are listening.
Oh yeah,
indeed.
Hung it up on my wall.
Yeah, tell us what's going on at Fresno State. I was trying to explain to the listening audience about ASI and the funding, where you have different organizations on campus organizations that go to ask for the funding. Can you kind of expand on that?
And tell us what ASI is.
ASI, Associated Students Incorporated.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, so I would like to get a better understanding from both sides.
Okay.
You know, you hear one side, I want to hear what's happening on the other side.
There's always a middle, too.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're only going to get one side of the story. But from what I heard, basically some of the cultural organizations on campus have been applying for funds from ASI to help support some of the events that they're having. And from what I'm hearing is that a lot of them are getting denied these funds because they're culturally inclusive.
Okay.
That's the word, culturally inclusive. Meaning that they're not, I guess ASI is saying that they're not including other people and other students. Basically, it's not open to the public. They're just being inclusive of certain ethnic groups to participate.
Isn't that a little strange?
Yeah, which is really weird. And then what makes it even weirder is the fact that most of ASI's funding, which is supposed to go to educational purposes, has been going to the gun club on campus.
Wow. That part I didn't know. What's educational about the gun club? Is it that they're educating people not to use them? What I don't understand.
I don't know exactly. I would like for somebody who knew about the gun club, they can call in and let us know, like, why you're getting funding.
Right.
I don't know, you know. And it's just, I just find it really weird that these groups aren't able to get the funding that they need. I mean, there's only so many people that can come out and support them, you know, being part of their groups and stuff. So getting that ASI funding is extremely important to them. You know, they need that in order to keep having their events go on. And especially because they don't get as much publicity from, you know, the collegian or anything like that, you know, just being able to support them in that way makes the biggest difference. So
Sure.
I know somebody's supposed to be calling in to talk about their whole little experience, but we'll go ahead and wait for that then.
They got about 6 minutes and then we got to move on. Boom, boom, boom. We always tell our listeners we have a tight show.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we get to all the topics. I don't know what time the Fresno Griffins coach is coming in. In fact, I don't know where those players are at. We'll have to find out.
Oh, are they actually coming in?
Well, I thought they were coming in, but I know a coach that is calling in for certain. And we'll find out more about that. But that's a little strange, the reverse discrimination, what I was talking about. Because all the groups on campus, if that's the case, would be in violation.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's the same word that they use towards them. Like, you guys are doing reverse discrimination. But it's like, no.
So the International Students Club has to have non-international students.
Yeah.
And the sewing club has to have students who don't sew.
That's what that means.
And I mean, really, because that is what it means. And I'm just trying to wrap my head around that the college has a gun club. I'm guessing that they're not telling people not to use guns. Otherwise, they'd be the no guns club.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. And this has all started because Mecha was the ones to speak out about it. And clearly it's been happening to a couple of other cultural organizations. And so everyone's kind of catching on to this. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, you know, are you guys filling out paper the right way? You know, there's like something in the middle that's kind of being distorted. And I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
I would like to know as well, because it doesn't make sense that whether it be ASU, AKAs, asking for funding for educational purposes, because technically all of the organizations on that campus are for educational purposes.
Yeah, no matter what it is, like, it's going to be educational. So
I mean, duh. I mean, that it's a campus organization. So that's my concern. Who's in charge of ASI? What's the makeup of ASI?
ASI.
What's the ethnic makeup of ASI?
Oh, you want to go there?
Go on there.
Well, after going to Africana Culture Night, I heard that some guys of some multicultural fraternity, but even though they look like majority of them are Hispanic or Latino descent, most of them are part of ASI. So I see actually a lot of Hispanic makeup in ASI.
Is there are they allowed? I mean, does diversity matter?
I think diversity matters a lot. I mean, I feel that when you're having something like ASI, just the same way as there's like in a bigger scale, presidential elections, you want somebody to be able to represent you as a person, which is one of the
So how does ASI handle that as far as the diversity? Why not have...
I don't feel like it's ASI's fault, to be honest. I feel like it's our students' fault for that. I mean, like, if you want there to be change, why don't you be the one to say, hey, I'm going to go run for something and be a part of ASI.
That's right.
So that I can be a representative of that, you know, to be able to speak out, because their little group that they listen to, that's who they listen to.
That's great.
You know, majority of the consent and majority of the vote comes from them at the end of the day. And if you don't have a representative who's Hispanic, or you don't have one that's Pacific Islander or Black, or, you know, whatever it is, I mean, who's really out there to speak for you?
That sounds good. However, I still sense a little bit of bias when you're telling me funding goes to a gun club.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. You're right. There does need to be representation from, especially African Americans. They need to step up.
Oh, yeah.
There's no more of these excuses. What can you give me? Until we step up and be a part of something, then you really don't have an excuse. But I am concerned about a gun club.
Yeah, the gun club kind of made it a whole different ball game.
That's
like,
what changes
what is that?
That's what makes it. That's where I become concerned.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I've never seen anything that, like, I haven't seen any gun events on campus, and I'm on campus like every single day. You know, I'm involved on campus all the time, and I haven't heard one thing about the gun club. I didn't even know we had a gun club, but all of the support's going to the gun club.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that doesn't make any sense to me.
And what are they doing with it if they're not holding events? What are they doing?
We don't know. Nobody knows.
That's what I want to know.
Check out. They might be stockpiling.
Yeah, I have no idea, but there's definitely something going on with that, and I just mainly want to say that I think that if people want to see change, they have to be that person to get up there and say, hey, I mean, I know it might take a lot of work to be part of ASI or whatever it is, but you're going to do what you have to do in order to make something change.
I think that's a valid point. And we've talked about some of the apathy that happens on campuses, or the real world is finally hitting. I don't think people realize college is a small microcosm of what happens in the macro, the outside world. And you've had the benefit of being involved in the community, so you see everything happening every day, all the time. And so after the break, though, we are going to be hopefully talking to our guest call-in from the Fresno Griffin. It's 8:29, and so don't change that. I can't say dial, because some of you are on your tune-in app, which is great. You are listening to Valley Black Talk Radio. So after the short break, we're going to get right into finding out more about our local ABA team, the Fresno Griffins. Stay tuned for more. You're listening to Valley Black Talk Radio.